Hey everyone, Ghostsonholiday here, and today I'm here to talk to you about something that's been near and dear to my heart for quite some time, and that thing, maybe it will surprise some, maybe it won't, it's Homestuck. Yes, Homestuck, the webcomic that's incredibly long, has a fan base that is notorious online, a creator that is now notorious online, and has suffered a lot of recent or really long-time controversies, but something that is still very near and dear to my heart. Homestuck, if you don't know, is a webcomic by creator Andrew Hussey that is about a group of kids who play a game that kind of basically a whole bunch of stuff happens because of this game. And it's called Homestuck because the initial character is just stuck at home, and it starts out silly, but it gets really in-depth. It's a lot of fun. And if you want to read it, I'd recommend it. If you don't like it after 3 or 4 acts, I would kind of drop it. But if you enjoy it, I would keep reading it. It's definitely the type of thing that if you're into it, you're really into it. And if you're not, you probably just want to set it down. I got into Homestuck when I was 17 years old. I'm 27 now, which means that I have been a Homestuck fan, devotee, whatever, for around 10-ish years. Really like 9 years and like 5 months or something like that, but who's counting except for me, I guess. How did I get into Homestuck? Well, sometime in October, it was like the year anniversary of the big Flash animation Cascade, which is a really big deal in Homestuck, both lore-wise, and it was just a big event. It's a really big moment in Homestuck. And people were making posts about it. I remember people talking about it. People just talking about the comic in general. It was basically all over my timeline of these random people that I followed. And so, you know, I was like, you know what? I'm going to check this out. And I did. And at first, I didn't really click with it. But people were so insistent on sticking with it, you know, not skipping and all of that kind of stuff. Like JoJo fans, a lot of people were like, don't skip acts. So I stuck with it. And the more I read, the more I kind of began to like it. The humor really meshed with me. It would go from this really goofy slapstick, just outright stupid humor, to this really dry as a bone humor, and the kind of whiplash that those different styles of jokes really vibed with me, as well as the story as it develops and picks up. You really begin to like the characters. The lore is convoluted, but it's also fun. And you know, I can't just tell you the whole thing about Homestuck, but I really got into it. I remember just really loving the comic, and for at least 2 to 3 months, from October to January or February, so maybe it was actually 3 or 4 months, I was just constantly reading the comic for hours a day on my laptop, just wherever, you know, whenever I had free time, I was reading Homestuck, and it just kind of took over my life. So I want to now transition into, this is from how I got into Homestuck to how Homestuck affected me as a youth. So I was, at the time, a brony. You know, I guess like a fan of My Little Pony. That's what the fandom was called at the time. They're kind of gone now, but they're pretty big in the early 2010s, and I was one of them. I got into it when I was like 16 because of some friends, or again online, and I was the type of person at the time who really, I would latch onto a group because I was kind of lonely and I really wanted friends. And you know what? I did meet and make some friends with some really cool people in the brony community, and I'll say that. I did fall out of it after about 1.5 years as I got into Homestuck, but that was a pretty alright time in my life, and I'll talk about that in another video, but right now we're talking about Homestuck. So, I met some people who are also into Homestuck through the MLP brony whatever like group that I was in at the time, and I made some friends, and I began to make friends who were into Homestuck. I went to my first anime convention because of Homestuck. I met the first like 2 semi-serious partners that I had because of Homestuck. And really, Homestuck helped me in my teenage years. Homestuck and MLP, I'll give it to both of them, really get out there and meet new people. I started going to anime conventions because of that. I followed a lot of, like, online fan blogs and stuff like that. I got into, like, fan music. Homestuck really did help me kind of expand and branch out as a human being. And like I said, so did MLP. I'm not going to definitely throw that under the bus because I had good times in the little MLP group I was in. But Homestuck made me multiple friend groups. I literally got into, like, anime conventions and going to conventions and stuff like that because of it. I was really, really into Homestuck, and it was a big positive influence on my life. I met a lot of people who I'm still friends with today, and some people who aren't into Homestuck, but I met through other people that I met because of that, because of Homestuck. I went to Homestuck Meetups. I remember, you know, someone getting yelled at because they threw a bucket. Thankfully, it was a plastic bucket, but there were stories about people getting hit in the head with metal buckets and stuff like that. I did one of my first cosplays ever because of Homestuck, which, you know, will be somewhere on the screen, maybe. I'm a little embarrassed by it, but I'm going to post it. But it's definitely not the most embarrassing costume I've ever worn at a convention, and we can talk about that some other time. Basically, Homestuck got me into a lot of things, but here is the issue. This is kind of what this video is about. I don't know what the title of the video is yet. Maybe Homestuck Nostalgia or 10 Years of a Homestuck Fan or something like that. But I was also really depressed. I got really depressed in my early 20s. I developed an anxiety... a serious anxiety problem. I don't know if I can call it a disorder. I definitely have. I've been diagnosed with major depressive disorder, and I don't actually remember a lot of my late teens and early 20s, which was some of the time that I was really into Homestuck. I remember bits and pieces, but it's all kind of blurry, and it's just kind of vague, like, oh, I remember going to meetups. Oh, I remember meeting these people and some of the moments that I had with them, but in my head, there's just a lot of information that's missing. And I realized recently, because I was going to do a video where I was going to go into detail about all this stuff, about how I got into Homestuck and the way Homestuck affected me. And it did. There's some stuff like, this video, I'm going to talk about the, specifically, I interviewed the Homestuck fan musician PhemieC. They were very cool to let me interview them. I'm editing that. That's going to actually be a separate video that's going to come out after this, where it's just going to be that full interview. But there was a lot of stuff that I was into with Homestuck. I did roleplay. I even looked at some of the, you know, I made a joke about porn on Tumblr earlier. I was into Nudestuck on Tumblr. A lot of stuff I just don't remember in detail. I remember just the vagueness of it. I remember following certain people on Tumblr, like a person called Charles Oberon, who I think was into Homestuck, or they might have been into something else completely. I followed a lot of blogs. There were fan blogs and stuff that I just don't remember, that told like fan stories and different versions of characters and stuff like that. And I remember watching like fan animations and stuff like that. One I remember specifically is actually mentioned in the interview with PhemieC, so you'll probably want to watch that. But I just wanted to say, I wanted to make this video by 413, so I am just kind of like throwing it together. But Homestuck, a lot of what I remember of it, like, I remember bits and pieces of the comic, but I actually started rereading it for this video because I remember there's a lot of little details that are just missing from my memory that I just don't remember. And a lot of the stuff I remember is more the vague positive feelings of things that happened because of Homestuck, the friends I made in the little time period from like 17 to 20 before my depression got really bad, that was really positive because of Homestuck and other things like that. And I just kind of wanted to talk about that. I realize I'm 27 now. It's been almost 10 years since I first got into Homestuck. And I've called myself a fan, but I haven't really been like a really like deep claws in fan for probably like 5-ish years. I think the ending of Homestuck came out in 2016. I would have been, it's 2022 now. When Homestuck ended, I would have been like maybe 21 years old. And that is right at the tail end of when my depression started to get really, really bad, and my anxiety started to get like worse and really bad. And so there's just, after that, you know, a lot of stuff from my early 20s is just kind of like vague, hazy memories. Like I remember some stuff, but a lot of, it's just all a cloud. And by extension, some of the stuff before that kind of got wrapped in too. And so I realized I have this Homestuck nostalgia. Like, I still love it. As I've been reading just even the beginning, there is stuff that has made me smile and even kind of like chuckle out loud in the comic. And it's fucking fantastic. And I always will recommend people to just give it a try. Read like the first 2 or 3 acts, see if you like it, you know. But I realized a lot of stuff around the fandom that this video was originally going to be about, I can't remember it, except for like real life personal stuff, real people I met, events that I went to. But I can't remember anything about like fan fiction that I might have read, blogs that I might have followed. I wasn't a big fan fiction reader, but I did follow like fan blogs that told like fan stories and stuff like that. I remember a few animations and some YouTube videos that I watched, and PhemieC and fan music. Those are some big ones for me. I remember fan music, like the land of fanned and when, I can't remember, but it's, there are some fantastic Homestuck fan music albums that I definitely recommend people check out, and like I mentioned earlier, there's this interview with the Homestuck fan musician, and just musician in general, PhemieC. They were kind enough to let me interview them, and I'm going to post that edited on the channel as well, and I would really like you guys to check that out. But I guess this video is just kind of me rambling, I guess. But Homestuck was a big part of my life for, like, at least 5 years, until my early 20s. And I've always wanted to make a... Homestuck was a big part of my life for a number of years, at least 4 or 5 years. That's probably one of the biggest fandoms that I ever stayed in, one of the things that I saw through to the end. I remember sitting in a Discord call with a bunch of random people on the Homestuck Discord to watch, oh, what was it called? God, how did I forget all of a sudden? Homestuck was a big part of my life for a number of years, at least 4 or 5 years. I remember literally in 2016 or 2015, I can't remember when it came out, that's part of what I'm talking about. Sitting in the Homestuck Discord with a bunch of random people waiting for Collide to drop. And then the same thing when the ending finally did come out. I sat in this Discord with a bunch of people I'd never talked to, never met before, and just waited for the ending of Homestuck to come out, and then I watched it with these people. We all reacted to it, we all talked about it for a little bit, and I stayed up just almost all night when that happened. And I remember that, and that's a very random positive memory. That's one of the few things that I do remember towards the end of, I guess, my severe Homestuck fandom. And I still do love Homestuck. I have this John shirt, this John Rise Up shirt, which is one of my favorite moments from Homestuck, which an ex-girlfriend got me, and thank you again for getting me this shirt. If you're watching this, which you probably aren't, I have one of those big posters that they gave out, or that they gave as an award for the game's Kickstarter that a former friend gave to me, which also thank you for that. That poster is fucking badass. They didn't really like the poster, so they gave it to me, and I'm always appreciative of it. It is a fantastic poster. I have the books. I have some little knickknacks and stuff like that, a calendar. I am and was and am rereading it, a huge fan of Homestuck, and it did affect my life in many positive ways. I met a lot of fantastic people. I became, I was already becoming more outgoing because of, like, getting into MLP and making new friends and stuff like that, but Homestuck really did push me out there. And I know in recent years, there's been a lot of controversy around it with the thing going on with the game and the comic itself and Andrew Hussey, and I understand that all of the stuff that's come out is, like, valid, but I wanted to make a video that was more positive, or attempting to be positive than anything, and just say, I appreciate Andrew Hussey as a creator, I appreciate everyone I've ever met because of Homestuck, even the people where our relationships didn't work out, or who might have had a negative effect on my life. I'm a better person today because of everything that happened because I read this comic. This is what I realized, I'm 27, I got into it when I was 17, Homestuck is nostalgic for me, and that's a little weird to think about, because it doesn't feel that long ago, but it really was, and I've been through a lot since then, and Homestuck, to a degree, as a piece of media, made me partially part of the person who I am today, mostly for better. And that's really cool to think about, that a piece of media can affect you like that, for the better. And it's not just the piece of media, it's the people around it, it's the fandom, it's the people that you meet because of it. And that's kind of what I wanted to say, this creation, Homestuck as a creation, the people I met who were also into it, it all made me partially, who I am today, and that's really cool. Now, I want to cap this off because this video has been going on for a long time. I've been trying to record it, I've been rambling, and I might even have to record a bit more because I don't know if I said everything I need to say, but 4/13 is literally tomorrow, and I need to try and put this out, so hopefully I did. But, I want to make more videos on Homestuck. This video was it barely actually covers it. It just more talks about my experience with it and, like, the positive impact that it kind of had on me. And I don't even know if I do that well, but I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. So, something I would really love to talk about, and if you would like to see that, please let me know, is Homestuck music. Like I said, I have this interview with PhemieC. They are awesome, and I'm going to link to their Bandcamp as well as the interview here today. You should watch that. It's like 30-ish, 40-ish minutes long, I would say. Maybe, I think. I'm going to try and edit it and make it, cleaner and more concise. But I would love to talk about Homestuck more than this. I want to reread it. I want to read Problem Sooth. I want to play Andrew Hussey's new game, Cyclonials. And I would love to talk about the Homestuck music, because that's something else that is just absolutely crazy, is Toby Fox made... It's not just Toby Fox, though. The Homestuck music by itself is insane. Literally, they made music for a webcomic that's not even featured in the webcomic. It's just like they made it, and it's just like, yeah, we made this song dedicated to this part in the comic that you can read about, but there's just a song for it that's not in the comic, but it's in the albums, and that's crazy. And there are fan albums, too. There are some crazy... I'm actually going to Google it really quick. So not only, there's PhemieC, who is a fantastic Homestuck musician, Homestuck fan musician, and just musician in general, but there are also Homestuck fan albums. There's like 5+, there's more of them, called The Lands of Fans and Music. I used to listen to those all the time, and I'm thinking of re-downloading them just to listen to them some more recently, because there were some banger tracks on there. PhemieC has a couple featured on there, and there's also... the people who worked on Homestuck music. Toby Fox is one of the biggest people who came out of, working on Homestuck. Everyone knows Toby Fox, but there were tons of people who made music for Homestuck. One that comes to mind, because I downloaded the piano album that he made. I think his name is Eric Giel Sheets, or Eric G Sheets. I can't remember. I'm sorry. I'll put it on screen right now. But that piano album that he did, it's fantastic. So yeah, there's so much you can talk about with Homestuck. And like I said, there's a lot I don't remember from online, and I could dig into that. There's, I'm just now remembering, speaking of Homestuck music, The Baby Is You, which is also by Toby Fox. There were tons of fan blogs, and I'm pretty sure fan comics and fan fiction. There's so much. You could literally probably entertain yourself, stretch of the imagination with the word entertain for some things, but there is so much stuff made by Homestuck fans, made by the Homestuck community, that you could keep yourself busy with, prospectively, for, half of your life, and you would never run out of things to, look at. I mean, and that goes for any fandom. Fandoms online are insane. But, yeah. Homestuck had a positive effect on my life. I wanted to say thank you. Make this video. I made a video a few years ago talking about the Homestuck game, which that's its own bag of worms, Hive Swap. That's its own whole thing. I do enjoy the game. I need to play the second chapter. There's literally so much you can talk about. And I'm going to end it with... I think I've said I'm going to end it multiple times now. I'm going to say this. I'm not as much in the online fandom anymore. I never really was. I was mostly in it when I was on Tumblr. And if you do want to be, there's the Homestuck Reddit, there's the Homestuck Discord. I am not really part of those. They're very chaotic. And it's always been hard for me to kind of get into it. I'd say the Reddit is a bit more structured, but a lot of the same people who are on the Reddit are on the Discord, and it's a very chaotic community that I've been part of, because there's just so many members. And that just goes with, when these sites get these large amounts of people. So, yeah, I really don't know what else to say. I think maybe I actually did say everything I needed to say, and thank you for watching. I don't, like I said, I want to make more videos on this topic, but you'll have to let me know. I don't even know if this will do well. Yeah. Thanks for watching. This is Ghostsonholiday, and I just rambled for 30 minutes about Homestuck, though hopefully when this is edited down, it'll be a nice, concise 15 minutes. And then there's the interview, which will probably be posted on 4/13 as well, or the day after, so yeah. Thanks for watching. If any of the people who I've met and knew me because of Homestuck, Jill, Lilia, Garrett, who I met because I met Jill and others, hey, and there's a bunch of people I met from Homestuck. I'm probably forgetting some people, but hi, if you're watching this, which you probably aren't, so yeah. Anyway, I don't know how to end videos, to be honest, so thanks for watching. Maybe. I don't know. Bye.